Have you ever felt, since you were a child, that there was something different about you? Perhaps an inexplicable feeling that he didn't fit in, or that his life was marked by challenges that others didn't face. Today I'm going to reveal something to you that can completely change the way you see your story. There are 7 powerful signs which begin in childhood and prove that you have always been chosen by God. Let's go to the first sign. Sign 1. Spiritual visions or dreams in childhood. Have you ever wondered why, since you were a child, certain dreams or visions never left your memory? Were they just imagination or messages from God saying, "You are my chosen one"? These vivid, real dreams are clear signs that you have been separated by God for a special mission. Imagine Joseph from the Old Testament. At a young age, he had dreams that no one understood, dreams that spoke of greatness, leadership, and purpose. He was ridiculed, rejected, and even sold into slavery, but God was preparing Joseph to rule Egypt and save thousands of lives. What if those dreams you had as a child were God preparing you for something great? Many chosen children have impressive visions, such as angelic figures or future events. Maybe you went through this and no one understood you. He felt isolated, different, not because of a lack of love, but because of something deeper that others couldn't understand. God was marking you spiritually from an early age, placing seeds of purpose and faith in your heart. Do you remember that dream that made you wake up with your heart racing, knowing it wasn't just imagination? God speaks to us in unique ways. These experiences were not accidents. They were divine encounters that shaped who you are today. They keep happening in the most difficult times, like little lights that guide your path, reminding you, you are not alone. I chose you. Have you ever realized that these dreams and visions were revelations about spiritual gifts that you didn't even understand yet? Prophecy, discernment, healing, or a specific mission. They are like pieces of a great divine puzzle that God slowly reveals. Every dream, every vision is part of this process, preparing you for the spiritual battles you will still face. Remember the prophet Samuel, who as a child heard God call him by name. Initially, he didn't even recognize the divine voice, but God insisted. The same goes for you too. Maybe initially you didn't understand, but God continues calling, confirming your purpose, showing that since you were little, you were already under divine protection, being prepared for something greater. These spiritual experiences are not to scare you, but to strengthen your faith. They are clear signs of God's love and care, saying, I am here guiding you, protecting you because you are special to me. These dreams are divine treasures, little beacons that light your way in the darkest nights of the soul. How many times have you doubted these experiences? How many times have you heard that it was just a dream, nothing more? But in your heart, you always knew the truth. Those visions scarred your soul, and even now, as you hear those words, those memories come back strong, reminding you that God never wastes a spiritual experience. Everything has a purpose, especially for the chosen ones. These dreams are the beginning of a spiritual journey. Even if you don't yet fully understand, they are invitations to seek God more deeply. Pray, ask for guidance, seek spiritual wisdom. God will gradually reveal His plan, confirming that each vision had a greater meaning, that each dream was a fundamental piece of His calling. Why you? Because God knows your heart, your strength, and your ability to withstand great spiritual challenges. These childhood visions are clear signs of your destiny, preparing you to fulfill a unique mission that only you can accomplish. God chose you not by chance, but by divine purpose. Now, reflect. Do you still have doubts about the meaning of these dreams? Do you still think it was just imagination? God is calling you again, bringing these memories to the surface so that you understand. Each dream was a step. Each vision was a confirmation. You are chosen, loved, and protected. Never forget, God started something special in you from an early age. These dreams were not just fleeting visions. They were encounters with the divine. You are not alone. God has a plan, a mission, and these dreams are confirmation that you have already started following it since childhood. Now ask yourself, are you ready to accept what God has been showing you since you were a child? Are you willing to embrace this greater purpose, recognizing that everything you have experienced has been preparation for this moment? If your answer is yes, know that you are not alone. God will continue to guide your steps, gradually revealing the wonderful plan He has for you. These dreams and visions are the spiritual markers of your life. Never doubt its meaning. Never ignore these divine messages. God is clearly saying, I chose you. You are mine. If you've come this far, maybe it's because something inside you already knew it was different. And now, the signs are starting to make sense, right? If you identified with what you heard and want to understand even more about this special purpose that has always accompanied you, I invite you to continue this discovery here on the channel. When you sign up, you join others who also feel this same divine connection. Together, we will explore more signs, understand our gifts, and discover the true meaning of being a chosen one. Sign up now and be part of this unique and transformative journey. Sign 2. Sensing invisible presences. Some experiences are impossible to ignore. You may be alone, reflecting in silence or in prayer, and suddenly, a strong presence manifests itself. A subtle but real energy that surrounds you and makes you feel like you're not alone. Has this ever happened to you? If so, know that this is no coincidence. There are moments in life when spiritual forces are present to remind us of something much greater. Some people feel an inexplicable heat. Others notice goosebumps or an intense feeling of peace. But what does it all mean? From an early age, many who experience these manifestations feel different, as if there was a greater purpose, but at the same time, a feeling of isolation. Have you ever wondered why this happens? To you? Why do some people go through life without ever noticing anything like this, while you feel these presences over and over again? That's a sign, a calling. Not everyone has this spiritual sensitivity, and if you do, there is a reason for that. Think about it with me. How many times in the most difficult moments of your life have you felt that something invisible was protecting you, as if a force was there, preventing the worst from happening? This is neither illusion nor coincidence. God uses signs to show that He is with you, and these signs don't appear for everyone. In the Bible, we see striking examples of people who were called this way. The prophet Samuel heard God call him by name as a child. He could have ignored it, thought it was just his imagination, but he recognized it was something divine, and that changed his destiny. In the same way, Paul, on the way to Damascus, was surprised by a light that blinded him and transformed his life forever. God manifests Himself in different ways, but always with a purpose. Now I ask you, how many times have you ignored these signs? How many times have you felt a presence next to you and not known how to interpret it? What if I told you that this doesn't happen by chance? These experiences are not just passing sensations. They are silent messages, spiritual confirmations that you are being guided, protected, and prepared for something great. In moments of uncertainty, when everything seems to fall apart, these presences become more intense, as if God is saying, I am here. And the dreams? Have you ever had dreams so vivid that they seemed more real than reality itself? Dreams with clear messages that left you restless when you woke up. God often speaks through dreams, revealing directions, warnings, and even answers that we have been seeking for a long time. Furthermore, those who have this calling face unique challenges. Have you ever felt like your life has been a constant battle, that the difficulties seem greater than those of other people? This happens because those who are chosen go through a polishing process. God allows you to face trials to strengthen your faith, shape your character, and prepare you for something much greater. And now, think. How many times after feeling this presence has your life taken an unexpected turn? How many important decisions were influenced by this feeling that something was guiding you? This is no coincidence. It is a divine plan in action. If you feel invisible presences, know that you are not alone. You are part of a select group called to something extraordinary. God has a purpose for you, and these manifestations are proof of that. The question is, are you ready to accept this calling? Now tell me, have you ever had an experience like this? Have you ever felt like something was protecting you or watching you? Share in the comments with, yes, I've felt this presence. And let's together understand what God is revealing to our lives. Sign 3. Natural attraction to sacred places. Have you ever felt something inexplicable when entering a sacred place, even as a child? An intense peace, a feeling of belonging, or the clear feeling that you were not alone? This experience is not common. It is a clear sign that you were chosen by God for something much greater than you imagine. From an early age, many of those chosen feel a mysterious attraction to churches, temples, or natural environments that radiate spirituality. Perhaps you remember Moments when, without understanding why, you found yourself deeply moved when visiting these places. It wasn't just childish curiosity. It was his soul recognizing the divine presence, even if subtly. In the Bible, Samuel heard God call him as a child, but he didn't immediately understand. He needed to listen several times until he realized that it was God revealing his purpose to him. 1 Samuel 3:4-10. You may also have been hearing this call forever. You just need to recognize it. Have you thought about that? These sacred places are more than just buildings or beautiful landscapes. They are portals that directly connect your heart to God. When you enter them, it's as if your soul says, "Here I am, Lord, speak to me." This is the silent voice of the Holy Spirit guiding your life forever. How many times have you sought refuge in these places in difficult times? Whether in a silent church or a peaceful corner of nature, you feel something different there, something you don't find anywhere else. It's as if even in silence, God is saying, "I'm here with you and I have big plans for your life." You are not a fluke. Your life is being shaped from the beginning to fulfill a special mission. Attraction to spiritual places is just one of the clear signs that God has chosen you. But the question is, have you understood that you are truly a chosen one? Do you accept this calling? These places are also an invitation to delve deeper into your spirituality. It's not enough to feel. You need to understand the meaning of this. Perhaps now is the time to ask yourself, why does God draw me so much to these places? What message does he want to give me? Each time you seek out these environments, your faith is strengthened and your mission becomes clearer. You are not just receiving peace, you are receiving divine instructions to move forward. God did not attract you to these places by chance, but to show you that there is a specific and great purpose in your life. Remember the story of Moses. He did not understand why God had saved him from the waters and taken him to the desert, but God had a plan to transform him into the liberator of an entire people. Exodus 3:10. Likewise, you may not understand everything you feel, but God has already written a powerful story for you. Being chosen doesn't mean everything will be easy. On the contrary, it means that you have been prepared to face special challenges because God knows your strength. Every difficulty is a confirmation that you have the ability to transform pain into purpose and suffering into testimony. These moments in sacred places are like small daily miracles, recharging your spiritual energy. Don't take these moments for granted. They are the pillars that support your journey towards your true destiny. How many answers have you found in these silent moments with God? Don't ignore these signs any longer. Your soul longs for a deeper connection with the divine because God planted this desire in you from the beginning. Your spiritual sensitivity is a rare gift, a mark that you did not come into the world by chance. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times these places were your safe haven? Reflect on this. Recognize that this attraction is not a mere coincidence, but rather an ongoing call to move even closer to your purpose. Don't let these moments be lost in the past. They are the key to understanding your mission now. The attraction you feel is God's permanent invitation, asking you to say yes to the purpose he has outlined for your life. You have a unique mission. God chose you not because you are perfect, but because he saw in you a heart ready to transform lives. His journey, marked by this inexplicable attraction to sacred places, is just the beginning of something great. The time has come to respond to this call firmly. How many lives can you impact by saying yes to divine purpose? How much suffering can you alleviate? How much love can you spread to the world? Your soul knows this to be true. You are a chosen one. You are special, your life matters, and God is counting on you to accomplish something incredible. Look back and see all the moments God whispered to your heart in those sacred places. Leave no doubt about your importance and the fact that God has great plans for you. And now I ask you, do you accept this call? Are you ready to fully live the purpose God has written for you? Answer this question with courage and faith, because the world needs chosen ones like you. Say yes and watch God work wonders through your life. 4 to sign 4. Deep and misunderstood. Empathy. The chosen one carries within him an empathy that is often misunderstood, even by his parents, friends, or teachers. They ask, "Why do you care so much about other people's problems, Aua?" Or, "Why can't you just worry about yourself?" But what they don't understand is that this deep empathy is exactly what makes you a chosen one. It is what connects you directly to the divine purpose that God has outlined for your life from the beginning. From an early age, you may have heard phrases like, "You're too sensitive," or "You need to be stronger." And perhaps you tried in vain to become tougher, less sensitive, believing that there was something wrong with you. But in fact, this sensitivity is not a weakness. It is one of your greatest spiritual strengths. God gave the chosen ones a heart capable of feeling deeply so that they could transform pain into healing and suffering into hope. I want you to understand something crucial here. Your empathy is a spiritual gift. It is a powerful tool capable of healing wounded hearts, offering comfort in the most difficult times, and being a bridge between God and those who urgently need His presence. Perhaps since childhood, you have comforted friends who were bullied. Perhaps you were the one who noticed the silent pain in the eyes of your parents or siblings. These moments were not coincidences. They were clear signs that you are not here by chance. Your life was carefully shaped by God to fulfill a special mission here on earth. How many times have you cried over something that wasn't even directly your problem? How many times have you felt the weight of the world on your shoulders, even though you were just a child? This empathy, sometimes painful, is what makes you special, different, chosen. God placed this in you because He knew you would have the ability to carry this burden and turn it into a blessing. You are not too fragile. You are spiritually strong, anointed, marked to make a difference in the world. But I know it's not easy. I know that many times, especially as a child, you felt lost, lonely, misunderstood. And this misunderstanding was often accompanied by rejection. But I want to tell you something that you may not have realized yet. All of this pain had and still has a purpose. Every tear you silently shed was God preparing you, molding you, strengthening you for the special mission He reserved for you. God does not choose just anyone to carry a gift as precious as empathy. He chooses those with strong souls, even if they are seemingly fragile. Choose those who, even though they are hurt, do not stop loving and caring. This is the true spiritual strength of the chosen ones. This is why your empathy is misunderstood. That's why you felt different, out of place, even lonely in the crowd. Because God wasn't just protecting you, He was preserving you for something much greater. You may be asking yourself now, but why did God make me this way? And I tell you with absolute certainty, because He has a great plan for your life. A plan that you may not yet be able to fully see, but which will gradually be revealed in each act of kindness, in each consoling hug you offer, in each kind word you share. You, chosen by God, have the power to touch lives, to transform realities, simply because your empathy allows you to see beyond the obvious, beyond the masks that people wear. I want you to think for a moment, how many lives have you touched without even realizing it? How many times has someone thanked you for something you didn't even know you had done? This is your divine essence in action, your mission as a true chosen one. And if you've ever felt this in your childhood, this is an irrefutable sign that you've always been chosen. And if you are here today, watching this video, it is because the time has come for you to recognize and embrace this wonderful gift. It's time for you to understand that this deep and misunderstood empathy is exactly what makes you special. Don't run away from it. Don't reject it, but use it with pride, knowing that God gave you an immense heart precisely because He trusts you. You've always been this way because God always knew He could count on you to bring light, love, and healing wherever you went. Maybe now, looking back, you will begin to realize how everything made sense, how each difficult moment prepared you to be who you are today, someone chosen to touch hearts, to make a real difference in this world. And you are not alone. There are many other chosen ones like you, who also have deep empathy, who also feel intensely what others feel. You are a spiritual community, connected by this wonderful gift God has given each of you. Together, you can transform the world, one heart at a time. I want you to reflect on all of this now. Think about your childhood, the moments when this empathy was so present, so strong. Do you realize now that you were always a chosen one? Do you realize now that you were never alone? Sign 5. Supernatural protection in times of danger. Many times you must have experienced moments of danger in your childhood that seem inexplicable, situations in which everything indicated that something bad was about to happen, but suddenly, as if by magic, something protected you, freed you from a much greater evil. These moments are more than just coincidences. These are clear and undeniable signs that you have always been chosen by God. It's as if there was an invisible hand guiding and protecting your steps from the first years of your life. Perhaps you have already experienced that inexplicable feeling that, even in very dangerous situations, you were not alone. This is no coincidence. Many chosen ones report exactly this: supernatural experiences of divine protection during childhood. It's as if God has already laid out a much greater plan for you, something grand that goes beyond human understanding. Imagine that time you almost drowned in the pool, but were miraculously saved by someone who showed up at the right time, or that accident that almost happened while you were crossing the street, but something inexplicable stopped you. These moments are not just luck or chance. They are concrete proof that a greater force has always been by your side. God was showing that you are special, that you have a unique and non-transferable mission in this world. Have you ever stopped to reflect on these moments? Perhaps now, hearing these words, you are remembering very specific situations from your childhood. Times when logic said you wouldn't come out unscathed, but against all odds you came out without a scratch. It is impressive how God, in a discreet and supernatural way, kept and protected you, preparing you for something much greater. These signs should not be ignored, as they reveal a lot about the purpose God has for you. Perhaps you have felt different from others since you were a child, realizing that your experiences were unique and that despite the difficulties and dangers, you were always protected in a very special way. It's as if God is speaking directly to you. You are my chosen one, and I keep you because there is something great that needs to be accomplished through your life. These supernatural moments are like clues that heaven leaves for you to recognize your divine mission. And you know what's most incredible about all this? It's just that God doesn't choose ordinary people for ordinary missions. If you are here listening to this now, it is because something inside you recognizes this truth. You feel that your life has a deep meaning, that you did not come into the world simply by chance, but that there is a greater purpose, a special calling that you need to answer. It is possible that, for a long time, you have wondered why so many strange things happened to you, why you were so often saved from dangers that others were not as lucky. The answer is clear now. You have been chosen all along. God supernaturally protected you because you are part of a greater plan, something that only you can fulfill. These situations you experienced are much more than stories to be forgotten. They are powerful testimonies of the hand of God acting in your life from the beginning. And now, realizing this, you can begin to understand why so many different things happen to you. You are not alone on this journey. God has been by your side all the time, even in the moments when you felt completely helpless. And do you know what the next step is? It's recognizing these signs, being grateful for them, and preparing to understand more and more deeply the divine purpose that God has for you. His life, every challenge, every danger overcome, was not in vain. All of this is part of a spiritual molding process where God prepares you for something great. Maybe you're still looking for answers. Maybe you still don't know exactly what your mission is, but the simple fact that you're here, hearing these words, is a great sign that you're on the right path. God didn't bring you here by chance. There is an incredible journey ahead, and these moments of supernatural protection were just the beginning of something extraordinary that is about to happen in your life. Think of these experiences as constant reminders of divine love and protection. You are a chosen one, and nothing can change that. Every danger you have faced and overcome is a confirmation of how much God believes in you and your potential to do something meaningful in this world. Do not ignore these signs, as they are powerful indicators that your life is precious and has immeasurable value in the eyes of God. Sign 6. Rejection without apparent explanation. Have you ever suffered inexplicable rejection or exclusion as a child, even though you were a kind and friendly child? This is exactly the 6th sign that shows that you have been chosen all along. It's that painful feeling of being put aside without ever understanding why, a kind of invisible barrier that keeps you away from other people. No matter how hard you tried to fit in, something always felt out of place, like you were inherently different. This rejection, for no apparent reason, is more than just coincidence or bad luck. It is a deep spiritual indicator that you carry something special within you, something that the world around you may not yet be ready to understand. If we look closely, we will realize that this rejection, although painful, is also a clear sign that you have been set apart by God for a divine purpose. It's as if, from an early age, you are being shielded from superficial connections to prepare for something much bigger. It may seem contradictory, but this initial isolation was a process of refining your soul. God was shaping his identity, protecting him from influences that could distance him from his true calling. You've probably asked yourself many times why this happens to you. Maybe you felt like something was wrong or even that you were the problem. But the truth is exactly the opposite. What seemed like social rejection was, in reality, a clear sign from heaven. It was the universe confirming that you were not like others, because your journey was meant to be different, deeper, and spiritual. It is important to understand that this feeling of not belonging where you were was not a result of your imagination or any personal failure. It was the presence of something greater guiding you, even if silently. Often, those chosen go through this inexplicable rejection to develop a unique inner strength, a resilience that few can achieve. And you, without even realizing it, were being strengthened for a divine mission, a mission that would require courage, faith, and a deep understanding of the spiritual world. How many times have you found yourself thinking about those rejection situations you faced? How many times did you try to understand why people just couldn't accept you? This happened because you are the bearer of a special light, a spiritual energy that bothers even without you realizing it, those who are still immersed in darkness. Yes, this is a harsh reality. His presence, although gentle and peaceful, aroused conflicting feelings in the people around him, feelings that they themselves could not explain. Have you ever stopped to think that perhaps your presence was a constant reminder of what they had not yet been able to understand or accept about themselves? This rejection, as painful as it was essential to his spiritual awakening. It was through her that you began to question yourself about deeper things, to seek meaning in places that most people don't even imagine exist. This involuntary separation was what brought you closer to God, to your greater purpose, to the understanding that there is a much broader and more complex spiritual reality. When you look back, perhaps you realize that those moments of solitude were also moments of encounter with something sacred within you. In moments when no one seemed to understand you, it was God who was there, by your side, preparing you for something great. That's why today you understand that your life was never ordinary. It couldn't be, because the chosen ones are rare, and their journeys are often marked by trials that set them apart from the rest. Have you ever wondered if other people feel this way too? If you felt this way, type here in the comments, "I've been there too." Let's see how many of us share this same spiritual sign. Your story can inspire others to understand that they are not alone on this special journey. The truth is that the rejection you experienced was not a mistake, but a preparation. You were not excluded by chance. It was separated into something bigger. And as you embrace this truth, you free yourself from the weight of rejection, understanding that everything was part of a greater plan designed by God to take you to the exact place where you were meant to be. This place, which you may still be discovering, is a space of fulfillment, purpose, and divine connection. Always remember, you were not rejected, you were protected. Protected so that the purity of your soul would not be corrupted, so that your heart would not be hardened by the wrong influences, and so that you would be ready when the right moment came. Your journey is just beginning, and these signs that you have carried since childhood are clear proof that you are someone special, chosen by God for a mission that only you can fulfill. This journey is not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. Knowing that you have been chosen brings with it an immense responsibility, but also a feeling of peace and belonging like no other. Because now you know that all those pains had a reason, and that your destiny was always to be close to the divine, close to the purpose that transcends common explanations. So keep reflecting on these words, because your story still has many important chapters ahead. And in each of them, you will see more clearly how that inexplicable childhood rejection was the starting point for something wonderful and transformative. Don't be afraid of painful memories. They are proof that you are, in fact, a chosen one. You've already discovered the signs from your childhood, but there's something even deeper that you need to know. Click on the video that's now appearing on your screen, because what you're about to discover could completely change the way you see your life and your divine purpose.